Trump's own party en masse standing up to him tonight, and it's all over that $1.8 billion defense fund. Is it a turning point? Plus, Todd Blanche doing the president's bidding, making a very rare trip to Capitol Hill to try to salvage Trump's most important pet projects in a meeting that did not go well, leaving the DOJ with chaos tonight. And new details about Stephen Colbert's final show, the late night host taping his show as I speak. We've got new details about it. Let's go out front. Good evening, I'm Erin Burnett, and out front tonight, the breaking news, revolt. In an extraordinary moment, President Trump's own party has stood up to him, derailing his personal agenda. It comes down first to the $1.8 billion Trump Defense Fund, a fund that Trump says would help people like him who were targeted unfairly by the Justice Department. Now, the issue became so toxic that Senate Republicans bailed on a vote on Trump's key immigration bill. Now, that vote is now uncertain. By the way, this immigration bill, that's a policy issue, right? Many of them were fine with what was in it, but it was the extra things in it. Now they're gone for Memorial Day, so we'll see where this goes. But the casualty of that bill is also likely the $1 billion in now taxpayer funding for Trump's White House ballroom. That's likely to be stripped out of the immigration bill because the GOP isn't going to support it. Strip it out or they're not going to pass it. It's pretty incredible. These are Trump's pet projects and a centerpiece of his domestic policy agenda, now stalled because of those pet policy projects. Just listen to some Republicans speaking out about that $1.8 billion fund.
This is just stupid on stilts.
I do not believe that individuals who were convicted of violence against police officers on January 6th should be entitled to reimbursement for their legal fees.
And Republican Senator Ron Johnson told Manu, quote, somebody described it as a galactic blunder, and I think that's probably true. And those are just the ones talking. Behind closed doors, Manu is reporting that hardly any Republican senators have come to the fund's defense. Which is pretty incredible. Hardly any. Even as the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, made an emergency trip to Capitol Hill to try to win them all over. That meeting, by all accounts, was a disaster. And it's not just the $1.8 billion fund or the billion-dollar ballroom that has many usual Trump supporters saying no. Just listen to this conversation on Fox News about Trump's controversial decision to back the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton over sitting Senator John Cornyn in the Texas Senate primary.
This is a big race, and John Cornyn, the incumbent, did not get that endorsement Ken Paxton did.
No, he didn't, and the reasons he didn't get it, I think, are pretty flimsy on the president's part, and I think that the seat is now at least in some danger.
For him. And now just listen to this Newsmax host question Trump's decision to indict the former Cuban president Raul Castro. So standing up on a totally different issue. Anchor Rob Finnerty said that he did not buy the White House's argument that Cuba is a threat, even suggesting it was a false flag operation.
I think people struggle with how this is America first when gas is $4.55 a gallon right now.
And according to a new Fox News poll, Trump's approval rating is at an all-time low among Republican voters, white voters, and rural voters. In fact, only 43% of white voters and rural voters approve of Trump's performance right now. Those are crucial groups in terms of getting him elected. And yet President Trump brags about his approval rating, right? He brags about that crosstab of that one NBC poll, right? But he's bragging also about an approval rating that's a little stunning for America First, right? Because this one's not in America.
I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister.
99% in Israel. Well, so much for America First. That comment did not go over with one-time Trump ally Tucker Carlson either.
That president has spent the last year looking outward toward the approval of other nations. The last year has not made America great again. The last year has diminished American power at a rate some of us thought was unimaginable.
And Karl Rove wrote in the Wall Street Journal today, quote, making things worse are Mr. Trump's erratic late-night missives. The president comes across more as a heckler at a UFC match than as a reassuring wartime commander-in-chief. The president's actions are helping Democrats that could give Democrats the House. Manu Raju was out front live on Capitol Hill. Manu, I know that you are talking to so many, some of whom we were able to see there with you capturing them on camera, some of those conversations off camera, but are they pretty much all consistent from GOP lawmakers?
I mean, this is a party that's in disarray right now, Aaron, at a time where they want to be united headed into the midterms. In fact, the House just left for the Memorial Day recess, not returning until June 1st, and the Speaker abruptly canceled a vote on to check President Trump's war powers on Iran because it was going to pass the House, and rather than seeing it pass, deciding to send the House home. This comes in the aftermath of the Senate Republican leaders sending the Senate home rather than voting on a bill that would provide tens of billions of dollars to fund immigration enforcement, all because of the disagreement over this weaponization fund, $1.8 billion that Republican senators said they simply do not want. That has led Republican senators to point fingers at the White House and House Republicans to blame Senate Republicans.
I think it's a gutless move by the Senate. I think they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
But are you worried about November?
Of course, I'm very much worried about it. I'm worried about our country. I'm afraid we could lose everything.
There's no one positive thing that could be spun out of this between now and November. This is bad policy, it's bad timing, and it's bad politics.
But one person who has not weighed in on the policy of that $1.8 billion fund is the Speaker himself, Mike Johnson. I asked him just moments ago whether they should drop this fund, whether the White House should drop this fund in order to move forward with this bill dealing with immigration enforcement. He said it is up to the White House. And I said, should this money be limited and should it be excluded? Should January 6th rioters have access to taxpayer money? And he declined to comment. Aaron?
All right, thank you very much, Manu, and everyone's here with me. All right, so, Paul, there's a break on the funding for this fund, right, which is an unprecedented thing in and of itself, right, and so subjective, even if it were to be managed by 5 people not picked by Todd Blanche, who was the president's former personal attorney, would still be problematic. Then there's the ballroom. Is this a turning point?
It is. I mean, I think the turning point happened a couple weeks ago, and now the Republicans are catching up, and the barometer is always independence. And Trump has totally bottomed out with independence. Almost everything he's doing is unpopular now. The Iran war, the tariffs, the ballroom, the arch. And I think it's going to get worse because now we've got Memorial Day where people are going to be driving all across America and they're going to see gas prices in some states over $5 a gallon. Memorial Day is going to be a reminder about the human cost of war. We did lose 13 troops in Iran, and he wants more war. He's talking about Cuba now. It seems more likely than not that he will hit Cuba. So he's bottoming out with independence. He's bottoming out within his own base with the people he promised no new wars, no foreign wars, no never-ending wars. And I think people are starting to smell what's cooking here. He's also got people like Cassidy that he came after who are now turning against him because they're empowered on Iran. They crossed him on Iran, and I think that's the beginning of what could be to come.
Right, he got rid of him, except for that isn't going to happen for 8 months.
Right.
He got votes for that time. I mean, actually, then you've got Tim Burchett. You just heard him talking to Manu. I'm worried about our country. I'm worried we could lose it all.
Yeah, he's talking about losing the midterms and then losing power. He doesn't. I mean, maybe he thinks that we could.
It felt more existential to me.
I don't buy that. I'm sorry. I think he's literally talking about losing the House and losing the Senate. I am not as optimistic as you on the turning point. I wish it was. I wish a girl could dream. And yet, if Paxton in Texas in the primary on Tuesday pulls it out, if in the runoffs in Georgia for the Republicans, the candidates that Trump has supported pull it out, I could see people in the chambers running back scared again. I think they went on vacation and didn't vote on these because they are hoping that the attention span of Donald Trump runs out on these 2 projects, and when they come back on June 1st, he's focused on something else that is more palatable for them. I know that I agree these are all both bad options, and yet I don't think it's turning point yet.
Do you think anybody thinks he's going to just forget about the ballroom?
No, never. Or the arch, for sure.
Yeah.
And not the slush fund either, because I believe the real reason for that was so that he could never be audited by the IRS again. So I don't think he's going to give that up. But we said it here last night, that the real turning point is the fact that when the primaries are over, what will his power be over these Republicans? I mean, let's just look at a state. For example, let's say Republicans start to move away from Trump and they're more moderate. Let's pick Texas. Let's say John Cornyn pulls out a victory and it's Cornyn against Tallarico. Is Trump going to say, don't vote for Cornyn? vote for Tallarico?
He could not spend a bunch of money though.
He could not spend a bunch of money. He could tell MAGA base to stay home. That could be that's the only red herring in what I'm saying, I think. But I think the only way Republicans win or have any chance of winning the midterms is to distance themselves.
But can I just clarify?
Or I don't think we should assume that free and fair midterms are going to happen. I mean, Trump telegraphs every single punch, and he's been saying that he will disrupt it. Steve Bannon saying, ICE at airports is a warm-up for sicking ICE on the election booths. And the real problem with this $1.8 billion is it's a pardon and it's a payout for people who attack the federal government.
Yes.
So it becomes plan C for him. It's a green light for anybody who wants to attack the government. He can go to the military first to disrupt the elections. If that doesn't work, he can go to ICE. And if ICE says no, this is plan C.
Well, now
And
you're
that's
really
where-
scaring us.
and we should be scared.
Can
because that's what he's saying he will do, and we should believe him, just like Cuba. He's going to come back and he's going to focus on Cuba.
But can I just clarify the point on Cornyn? It's not that he might not support his race, because if we flip Texas, the Republicans are in trouble. It's that the ability of his endorsement is not the thing that carries over, like in a Massey, like in an Indiana, and like a Louisiana. So it makes people think maybe his base is retreating from him. I agree that the question of like we need to have fair and free elections, I think the sabotage is already happening. I think it happened in Tennessee. I think it might happen in South Carolina with redrawing district lines. I think it happened with the Supreme Court gutting the Voting Rights Act with the Calais decision. The sabotage is looking different this year than it did in 2020 when January 6th. But there are attempts to undermine this election right now by this administration.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate for a second though. On the judicial front, Republicans have been winning on some of the redistricting. Take Virginia, right? So they've been getting more math in their favor. Then when it comes to primaries, Trump has been